The OG of OGs at CrossFit Grandview. I think of him as like our gym mascot almost, because Pete has, I don't know, maybe Rex has close to as many classes and things logged in as you, but you started here a few years before Rex, so Rex came in maybe 2 years after you. Pete, you've taken, I don't know, probably almost like 1,000 classes from me. You've been like noon historically, almost year after year.
Yeah, I think maybe 3:30 when I first started.
Yeah. So you had Andy for a lot of that time. Andy was your coach.
Yep.
And then kind of I took over that spot the last few years, and
it's kind of ebbed and flowed a little bit.
Yeah.
You know, especially like pre-kids, now kids. You know, I was doing 6:30 in the morning a lot.
Yep.
But now I have kid duty.
First thing, yep.
Yeah. So, but noon works out great because it's a nice break in the day, and
yeah, that's a good way to break it up. What did you start in 12 or 13?
I think 12.
Okay. Yeah. So like right when we got to, I figured I don't remember a time at the gym, like when we moved to Kinnear, that you weren't there. But sometimes I have that memory, and then people maybe came in a year after, but I feel like you were there right off the rip.
Yeah, not immediately, but yeah.
A couple months into us being there.
I think so.
Yeah.
Did you start working with Lauren right away?
No, I think I started with Lauren like in sort of a wedding prep.
Okay, that's what it was. Yeah. I remember her talking about you, and you were you would like to do a bunch of 2-a-days, and she'd kind of catch you doing 2-days and running extra.
I'd be over at the old barbell, and she'd be like, "What are you doing?"
Yeah, I remember that.
Because Lauren didn't start with you until a couple years after Pete had been there, because she went away to like school and all that.
Yeah. I don't know what I was thinking. Yeah, it seemed like forever ago, but I mean, it was like 2000. It was 2015. Yeah, because I was pregnant with Oscar. Yeah.
So how did CrossFit get on your radar? Because that was still the early days, 2012, kind of like towards the beginning of it. How did you start to like?
Yeah, I had a couple of friends that are on the West Coast that I grew up with, Rachel, and she was big into it in LA, and we were always in touch. And she's like, you've got this like kind of big deal gym in your backyard. You should go check it out. So she came in town one time, and we did like a CrossFit style workout just at another gym, and I was like, I really like this. And I probably signed up and canceled Elements probably 3 times, and until I finally did it and had Dan.
I was going to ask you if you had. I think that's why Lexi didn't come back. She had Dan.
I mean, I had never like held a barbell before. I'd never done a back squat. I'd never done any of this. I was just really just running. But almost immediately I was like, I like this.
Yeah. I mean, you were really regular, like right off the rip. Now you played sports in growing up, and did you do like strength and conditioning for sports much in high school?
It wasn't really a thing.
Yeah.
And I played football and basketball in high school, and like basketball coaches would say, don't lift because it'll screw up your shot.
Yep.
So like we would, do some like benching here and there, but no, I never did any of that.
Nothing too dedicated or focused where you guys were at?
No. Okay. Not at all.
Okay.
Yeah.
Did you lift at all in like college or anything?
No, so like, played all the sports growing up, and then went away for college, and I probably from my freshman year of college till the next 10 years, I didn't really do anything. It was just, what are we doing tonight? That's all I cared about.
Yeah.
So that bench press messed up your route to the NBA, you're saying?
Right. Like fitness, diet, any of that was not in my head at all for 10, 15 years.
What got you back into it, I guess?
I started running. I think it was like a breakup or something, and I was like, just
that revenge body
in my
head.
Well, it was just more like
that toxic fuel.
It's great. Like, I need to do something to get out of my head. And then that was a couple years I was running 5 to 7 miles like almost every single day. I got it doing some half marathons and like some competitive 5Ks until I found this place. Really.
Okay. Yeah. Running was really popular. I feel like it's coming back a little bit, but I feel like it was really popular in like the early 2000s. I got really into running for a little bit, and I feel like that's kind of like what everyone was doing.
I listened to Tyler Smith, and it was the same thing. It was like my meditation.
Yeah. Yeah.
It was just, I didn't think about really anything. And when I would finish, I'd have that runner's high. I felt like clear-headed and just really good.
Yeah, it's super therapeutic. Well, depending on how hard you run, sometimes I just want to, die every second.
I wasn't running that hard.
Yeah. Yeah. And then you and your wife, you guys got together what year?
15, I think.
Okay. Yeah. And Katie was always into mountain biking, and she's a great runner too, right?
Yeah, she's good at everything. Yeah. But when we met, she was like on the pro cycling circuit, so we were going all over the country. She was doing these cyclocross races.
Yeah.
And it was really, really fun. But yeah, she's a freak. Like, I remember she was like, show me how to do double unders. And I'm like, oh, this is going to be great. I was like,
something she's not good at.
Yeah, I was like, it's easy. You just jump a little higher and spin the rope a little faster. And I'm like, first try.
That's so wild. I've never seen anyone. Have you ever seen anyone get it the first try?
I've seen people get skills quick. I mean, I was, my training partner for quite a few years won the CrossFit Games, and so I saw a guy who could, see things and do things maybe as well as anyone I've ever, that's ever walked the planet. He was pretty good at learning things, and so
and then you've got the opposite of that with me.
But yeah, not a lot of people who have gotten double unders right away, and to that point. That was one skill when me and Graham were training together. I had a jump rope in my hands from boxing for quite a few years, and I was a little bit better at him at double unders and could edge him out on a double under workout here or there because we'd be doing it on like AstroTurf. So it was really hard to do it, but he definitely picked it up and then was able to run past me on those too. But yeah, not many people. Yeah. Katie is very athletic, and I mean, as you've seen with her, now she's in jiu-jitsu and stuff, and competing well when she goes and does things like that. She's got a blue belt already, right?
Yep.
Yeah.
Competed at the Arnold last year, and
how do the levels go? I always get confused with
you go white, blue, purple, brown, black.
Okay.
And there's not so it's only 5 belts. It takes in jiu-jitsu, an upper level blue belt is it could be like a black belt in other martial arts. It's not easy to each one is a really big deal and takes a lot of time, effort, and dedication to
I know Oscar just got his first, and it's been
he got his third belt.
Oh, third?
It's kids belts though. They work a little different.
Yeah. Mia's getting into it now.
Oh, cool. Yeah.
That's neat.
Yeah.
Well, I'm sure that's motivating for you to have a partner that's super into fitness and.
Yeah, she definitely holds me accountable.
Yeah. Do you guys go on runs together too? Do you guys run together much?
We don't anymore. We would when the kids were real little and we'd have that stroller that you could run with.
Oh yeah, those are horrible.
I know, they suck.
I was I was so excited to get the Bob, and I'm I'm going to be using this all the time. I did a half-mile warm-up, and I was I'm never using this again.
I know, and I just don't run very much anymore.
Yeah.
It's hard on
Do you have knee issues? Yeah. Okay.
So Pete, I wanted to talk a little bit about just your evolution in CrossFit. You got into it for a couple of years, and then I think quite obviously you made a big jump when you started doing some decisive goal setting, and we even do that now from time to time. And you did that with Lauren in the Body Biz. So how had you been doing it maybe 2 years, 3 years, and then you're okay, I want to try and do some nutrition stuff, and how did that work?
Yeah, and I remember actually I was thinking about this today because I looked at my Instagram timeline, and I got my last level 2 check mark like the day before Eddie was born.
Okay.
And I remember going to the gym and being like, Katie, if it's not today, like it's probably not going to happen because, you know, then we're going to have a newborn and,
Yep.
then, you know, everything goes crazy. So that was
What was your last one?
It was the 1K row,
Oh,
which
yeah.
like not a great rower.
Yeah, yeah.
And
What is that, 3:30?
Yeah.
That's hard.
Yeah, yeah.
And I'd got on the rower a couple times and like just freaked out at like 500 meters and like
Yeah.
gotten off. I'm like,
Because you can see your pace is getting away. Yeah.
I was there.
Yeah.
It was like between like the 6:30 and the 8:30, and I was with Dan, and he was just like, we gotta go. So that was
Good old dating
That's
motivation.
no joke. I mean, just like even your height on that. We did a 1K in here a little while ago, and I pushed it hard, and that's like right what I got. You know, like right in there. And I'm like, ooh, you know, that sub 145 split time on that is something you got to like grit down for.
Yeah, yeah. So like working through that was fun, and and then like you and I have gotten back into some things. Like I don't know, we were just chatting, and I was like, you know, doing 5 unbroken muscle ups at my age, that would be really cool.
Yep.
And we worked on that and checked that off, and then I was like, well, what if we pair that with like retesting the L2 like Olympic lifts, because that's kind of a cool like, counter to the gymnastics. So I don't know, kind of itching for something now.
Yeah, well, yeah, we checked both of those off last year, and I remember right after you did that, you know, we're at the pool and you did this huge like backflip off the high dive, and I'm like, that dude's fit. You were, you know, what, 46?
Yeah, I'm 47 now.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, I mean, it was pretty dang cool. And just setting those little goals from time to time to like give you those benchmarks to hit. I think it's really cool how you do that, and it keeps you like fit year in and year out because you're what, 12 years into this, 13? Yeah.
What's your best Murph time?
Oh gosh, I don't know.
That might be a good one. That or the summer shred 5K.
I see where you're going.
Yeah.
Oh, more
both.
more the endurance route than because he just hit the
because you've hit the gymnastics, the Oli lifts.
Yeah.
Last, it'd be cool to like kind of keep flip flopping back and forth.
Yeah.
I always like Murph too. To me, that is like, I don't know, like being able to run decently and to be able to do Murph pretty well. It's because it's just like, you know, a lot of course, endurance, but then strength with the push-ups and pull-ups, and I like it.
It's a good test.
test.
That second mile is just awful.
Yeah.
I mean, it all gets awful.
Yeah, it's a great test. Now, Pete, you know, some of you guys don't know, and it's funny because it's been 4 or 5 years now, and, you know, in some ways it seems 20 years ago, and then other ways it's like, seems like yesterday. So I'll shoot, probably 35% of our members are post-COVID ones, or if not more. Pete, even before COVID, I'd say about 2018, you know, Pete is a commercial realtor, and he helped me he brokered the first barbell space, and then I'd kind of put the bug in his ear. I'd love to control my own destiny, and looking for a building, you know, and so we kind of started that project a couple of years before COVID, and you know, it's kind of trying to find a needle in a haystack sometimes. Something that's the right location and, you know, priced like something that I could afford and all of that type of stuff. So
in this area, I mean, I was like, I mean, because you need parking, you need ceiling height, and these are all like older buildings in this part of town. You need a reasonable price, which nothing is.
Yep.
Because OSU and all the apartments.
Yeah.
So
we right, actually, it must have been like 2 months before we got shut down. We walked through this building, and basically we like did some numbers on it, and and I could just see how like this building was super ran down. It did not look good.
I was like, what are we going to do in this building?
Yeah.
I did not see
And
it.
I'm like, I mean, and I just knew like what, I could kind of envision the work we had ahead of us. And I'm like,
Was that before like Livingston came to you and before?
yes. So that was all before that. And I was like, I kind of did it. I'm like, we're going to have to just empty everything we had financially on this thing. And I'm like, we're making money at the old gym. Like, we're doing all right. I'm like, I don't want to mess with this. Like, no. It was like a little bit too much money, like more than I was comfortable with. And then, I think we may even revisit COVID more so back in this, but we go through COVID. We're probably open for 3 months, maybe. It's in the summer. I had put a pad of concrete down and built a rig outside to really help. We had a lot of people who weren't like comfortable being in the gym, and so they could kind of like work out outside. And it was like, it really helped us because we had to kind of section things off. That thing did alleviate some space. Literally we had just anchored the thing down, and the landlord's like, hey, I'd like to come by and see what you guys just did. And he basically just let me know, like, we're putting the property up for sale and more than likely not going to do a lease, and we're going to redevelop the property. And I'm like, oh, no.
Just coming out of COVID.
I'm like, no. So I call Pete up. I'm like, is that building still for sale that we looked at? I'm like, this might be the only way we can kind of save this thing.
And I don't remember the exact chronology, but I remember a bit like just being like, we need to do this.
Yeah.
Like I personally put the property in contract, if you remember that. Because you were like, I'm not sure. I'm like, okay, you think about it, but I'm getting control of this right now.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. And then
Wow, I didn't know that.
Yeah. And then I ended
That's
up like
cool.
assigning it over to you guys. And
Just to get it off the market?
yeah,
Yes.
Okay.
just to get control of
It had offers already.
Yeah.
Like a lot.
I just remember I was
Yeah.
scared shitless because
Yeah.
I had just turned 40 and it was literally, I mean, we have IRAs, but it was emptying like the everything funds. And you're like, Kate, no, you guys got to do it. This is so
and
big.
I just saw Cole Ellis. I mean, he was so instrumental too.
Yes.
Yep.
No, he was great. And we thought we were going to need him to come in on it. And he sat us down and it was really cool what he did. He's like, listen, if you guys can do this at all on your own, you want to do that. You don't want me owning a piece of it. You want to do it on your own. Leverage everything you have. And I was like, at that point, I was like, okay, I don't want to put our house on the line. Or he's like, fuck all that. You're putting everything, everything you own is going on this. But I mean,
I remember that meeting. He's like, you don't need me. I was like, I've looked at the, you don't, and I mean, he was continued to be involved and very, very helpful. But
he really was, and that was super cool of him. Just to do and offer his time and expertise, because it's not easy. I mean, as you know, I had no idea like how much goes into it and how much shit can go wrong. And
So, I mean, this deal wasn't just like, oh yeah, then we decided to do it. It was like, we're getting bank financing, and then they started to like charge us $1,500 a day. It wasn't signed.
we were getting like an extension, and then there was like something weird with the drive. We needed to get like a parking agreement with Mass Foundation.
Yeah.
I can't remember all the nuances.
So all you people out there that are like, I want to own my own gym.
I mean, I've been doing what I do for 22 years. Top 3 most stressful deals I've ever
Oh, really?
Oh, yeah.
Okay, well,
and they're
that's
all
good to
stressful,
know.
but
yeah,
I was
very
also
stressful.
so personally like
Vested into this is a we thing.
I know.
Yeah.
I feel like I was texting you like every day. I'm like, Pete probably thinks I'm crazy.
Remember there
but-
was something crazy with like the day of closing, like you guys had to go to like something got messed up with the wire or something.
Oh, the wire transfer?
Something was weird. I don't.
Yeah.
I can't even
It was one,
remember.
I mean, it's such
Yeah.
a blur because it was one thing after another that it reminds me of like a TV show that they try and keep you watching it because every episode, it's a
was that?
cliffhanger at the end of the day. And I'm like, how are we going to,
What was that HBO show?
like Entourage?
Yes.
Yes.
Everything's great. Oh, bad news, guys. And then you figure that out. It's like, yes, we're going. Shit.
Yeah. That was every day for 6 months it felt like.
Yeah.
Until we finally, and even just to like kind of sum it up, I had, do you remember at closing, I had my phone and it was the mayor. It was a live video. I'm signing a stack of paper this big, signing my life away. And it's if he's going to essentially lock us down as I'm like signing this. And I'm like, this might be the worst idea I've ever had.
I mean, just the fact that you were able to secure a loan in that time
For a gym.
I mean, that's like going to get a loan for an office building right now. Like, it just doesn't happen.
Yeah.
You can't do it.
Why is that right now for the office building?
Just with all the like remote work and
Okay.
They don't know if it's going to be a viable
Oh,
thing
that
to
makes
put
sense. I mean, that's smart. Yeah.
a 25-year
Yeah.
note on, you know? Yeah.
Yeah. Are almost all commercial deals 20-year loans?
no, not necessarily.
Okay. We were just talking about that the other day, and why that is, why they're shorter than like a home mortgage.
Yeah.
Just
It-
want
it
their
just-
money in a shorter period of time. Make sure you're good for it. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, we screwed up. We screwed up and didn't pay property tax last year, so we are like under financial scrutiny again. It got sent to the old building.
Oh,
But-
yeah.
We're catching up. We got caught up.
we're on a payment plan and
I
all
was
that,
like-
but
Well, we just got our bill. I think I told you. I got my home property tax bill. I'm like, I didn't get one from the gym. And I'm like, oh no. I have like 30 bills I'm paying all the
it's
time.
hard
I'm
to
like,
keep track.
oh shit. So we like call and I'm like, hey, where are we at with our thing? And it was like,
I took care of it all.
Kate
And then
took
I'm like,
care of it.
now I'm in on all the financials because I do this. I get everything automated at home, and this is just such a big operation. So I'm like, I'll go downtown, and they were awesome working with us, but you get on like a payment plan. You have to like get up to speed, and then for the next 2 years, basically, you can pay it off. But yeah, now Larry Miller wants to know that we have the money, so it's like
I just had to do like a personal financial
are
statement for him. I'm like, yeah,
you're
we're
gonna be
fine.
good for it.
Yeah.
But it's a lot of money. And they're a small bank, so I get it.
Yeah. Oh, I mean, that's just part of, owning a building is a new thing for me. It's a
Yeah.
new like set of expenses and different bills that are running and coming. And it's a new part. It's a new layer of owning a gym and managing a 24,000 square foot building and just like keeping it up. And
Doing that deal and watching and seeing what it's become, it just makes me so happy. It makes me happy for you guys, for your kids.
yeah,
I mean, you have now something, you control your own destiny. You have something, someday, whatever, but, and values have continued to go up. I mean, this building right up the street sold for $6 million.
wow.
So
That one, if you head out here, it's
Yeah.
on the right. Oh, okay. What wasn't it listed around like 3 or 4?
it didn't have a price on it.
Oh,
OSU
okay.
bought it,
Oh,
Yeah.
how many square feet is that?
50,000.
It's huge.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, it's huge.
Yeah.
But still, I mean, that's
Yeah.
over $100 a foot. So.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's the biggest thing is this what we've built and what it is I think to the community keeps going because it was going to be tough and like I just it actually looks like they went into a bigger space, but there's a boxing gym down kind of by like where Ronan was. It was a boxing gym and they moved 20 minutes away to another space. It looks like a nicer space. They have more room. I think they'll do fine. Like there's less of these boxing gyms, but like, man, if I move this thing 8 miles away, like it's not the same thing anymore. It's not CrossFit
Yeah,
Grandview.
even a couple miles, it makes
Yeah.
a big deal for
Yeah.
me.
Yeah.
So just
Yeah.
being able to find one across the street is amazing.
I know.
Crazy.
It really helped. Okay, the stress of getting into this building and then the upfit was, I don't know, that was like a 6 to 8 month process. I was kind of running the other gym and doing this, so that is probably one of the biggest blurry time periods of my entire life. That 2021, because COVID was still such a thing lingering in the background. People were very scared. The numbers were always a big thing. I'm like, I was very cognizant of it because where we're at, when the numbers or the news would start talking about it, I'd get like 10 cancellations or pauses, like just with where the numbers are, you know, and then like boom. And it was like, you know, so my cash flow was all over the place according to like where the news cycle was as I'm upfitting this building, spending every dime of money I had. Finally we get in. And what was so cool is like right as we got in here, all of that stuff finally just started to die. And it only took, I would say, 3 months. And I was like, okay, this is going to work. Like 2 or 3 months. And I was like, I think this is going to work.
And everything was great. And then in our old building, and the entourage show again.
The deal falls through when the new gym comes.
Then the armory comes. Everything was great for about 6 months.
Well, I mean, I think too with Pete, a big thing that like, again, this is kind of behind the scenes is like Pete was really instrumental in COVID. Kate and I would go over and we would hang out. Like we had like a little tight circle that would like hang out. He lives really close. And so we would socially bring our kids over, like when we were fully locked down.
Yeah.
And like we would have drinks and make dinner and like all just like spend time together. And it was like our little COVID crew. Oh. And it made that time, it's cool to think back on it because it was still like, we were still able to like enjoy some life in this time where like everyone was just like melting down and you know, I know like you, like Lauren had some clients and you like opened up your garage and like she trained some people out of there, like a little like speakeasy gym, you know, and like doing
noon CrossFit every day. White Claws at 1:15, laying on my driveway. Sometimes, you know, cry a little.
Laugh, wake up, laugh a little.
But Katie was, you know, she's a PA, so she was going to work every day and she was like administering the test. No one knew what the hell was going on. You remember that cocktail class?
Yeah.
And Katie just ran with that.
Yeah.
So
and
like
the cocktails for two, right?
Yeah, we had a
tincture for two.
We had a bartender who was she worked at Miranova and you know, so she was out of a job and we hired her and to come and teach like a bartending class for us and like we made drinks and stuff like that and it was ton of fun and
it was a lot of fun.
Katie and Kate just
learned some they learned some mixology and they were making like
I'm still paying for that. Some bad
it's
habits.
fun. I love to make, you know, I've always loved to cook and bake and this is, I mean, there's such a science to each element of it, but it's a lot of fun. And once you follow that formula, the 2-1-1 liquor, you know, simple syrup and your citrus, you can kind of make anything not horrible, but that was a lot of fun. Yeah.
That kept us going. It really did. That kept me going, and it kept me having something to look forward to, you know, during a really, really stressful time, you know.
Just get out of
Dave, you remember what it was like owning a gym in the middle of COVID, like, you know, not the profession that anyone wanted to have right then, but
you guys would do a lot of outside workouts.
Just like you would do like video ones or Zoom ones, but I think like I would rather be a CrossFit gym where people are invested in your community rather than just some commercial gym where they don't really care about you that much. They 100%. Just want a place to work out. So I think, you know, the boutique gyms or the small community gyms or CrossFit gyms probably did better during COVID if they could string it out and do it in a way, you know, give out some equipment to your members, just whatever you needed to do to hold on to it and offer some value for a few months. And most of them stuck around. I mean, there was a little, you know, some people left and I understand and some came back, some didn't, but it was a little nerve wracking, but I was comfortable in that, like, we developed enough relationship with the people there that they were going to stick around. So, but
we had neighbors, and then my cousin, they owned like franchise gyms, like an Orange Theory and a Shred 415.
Yeah.
I mean, they got their head chopped off during that because people, they're not invested in it like they are a CrossFit gym. It's like, you know, they're as invested into it as like the Subway down the street. You know, it's like, it's a class. It serves a purpose. They like the people there, but it's not like CrossFit. There's something different to it.
Yeah.
You know, I mean, it's like a community, and like this is like your friends. It's like a spot that I feel like you have like a different kind of.
Well, the workouts are really, really tough, you know, and they're based off of like, kind of, aren't they named after fallen soldiers and like, aren't they, I mean, super, so you think about the military and that really bonds people together. And I mean, not that CrossFit can be compared to that, but it's very, very difficult, where if you're just showing up to an Orange Theory class, you're kind of just doing you there in the corner, and you're not going to have as much like skin in the game, where if you're just laying yourself all out, you're bleeding out of your eyeballs, like whatever you're doing. I mean, you feel like really invested in that, you know, just like even the Open, like we're signed up for it. I want to care about it way more than last year when I wasn't signed up for it, wasn't doing the workouts. I mean, it's still fun to watch people, but like if you're you hurt with people, then you really know what it feels like. It bonds you, you know. I'll
take a trip and, you know, not be here for a few days, and you get back and everyone's like, where have you been?
Yeah.
You know, or I'll get a text like, where are you, you know? So it's like, I don't feel right about my day if I'm not popping in here for an hour.
Yeah.
It's like, that wasn't a good day.
Yeah.
I think too that we haven't really got to touch on.
If they miss you at McDonald's and ask where you've been, you probably need to make some better decisions. To be honest, though, where you been? You've been coming for 5 years straight every day.
So Pete, with your training, what I think is cool is, you know, you've kind of like me, where I'll be really into CrossFit, and then you've kind of came in and out of Power Hour quite a bit, and you really enjoy that class. Talk about like maybe just like the different offerings, like stuff like that, you know, a little bit.
Yeah, I think I first started doing Power Hours when I was working with Lauren, and had a blast. But you know, CrossFit was always my favorite thing, but as I've gotten older, it takes a little bit of a toll, like 5-6 days of CrossFit. At least it did, and I was kind of fighting nagging injuries. But I've been doing Dave's noon class Monday, Wednesday, Friday pretty consistently, and then Tuesday, Thursday CrossFit. And I've been feeling great. I feel like I'm getting stronger and having a lot of fun. And like I was doing so much CrossFit, I just like on that 1K row, I just kind of freak out and be like, what am I doing? Like this isn't serving me right now. But when I mix in the Power Hours, I feel strong. I feel good.
Kind of refreshes you.
And I feel better when I do the CrossFit workouts. So.
Yeah, you came in and hit some really good Olympic lifts after not, you're not touching them all that often. And I was like, Pete, that's really good. But it's just from like you holding on to,
I felt really good yesterday.
Yeah.
Just doing those wall climbs and box jumps.
Yeah, you look good. You looked really strong in there too.
And you usually do a workout, you and Katie work out together on Saturdays?
Yeah, we'll do Saturdays or Sundays,
Okay.
Yeah.
So do you take any rest days or?
I always move around.
A little bit, yeah. I like to do that too. Mm-hmm. Something.
Yeah, me and Pete will get into like some Power Hour phases together. After the Open, I'll be jumping back over there probably for a little bit. I like to kind of do runs of it and let my strength kind of tick up and let other things. It helps me to like wrap my head. Pete can work out like all through it. Like I think you moderate yourself a little better than me. Like I'll go like a little bit too hard and I'll bang myself up. So I need like rest days or things like that.
Yeah.
I mean, you do too. It's just like, I don't know. Like
you listen to your body more than I do.
Yeah, I was just going to say that.
I was like, I'm not hearing that.
Keeps dragging his leg behind him. And he's like, I'm hitting the noon class.
Yeah.
I was just thinking about like when Eddie was born. I mean, I didn't sleep for 2 years, but I was here every day.
Yeah.
I mean, you remember, oh, geez, he was tough.
Dude, I've been there. I mean, I've been there, and that's actually how I started doing Power Hour initially. Was we just had Oscar and I wasn't sleeping, and I'm like, I cannot wrap my head around like doing like intense workouts, but I could get in and do like an hour of lifting, and I started easy. And then as he slept more and I was doing it, and I started adapting to it, and I really got into it. I was like, okay, my body can handle 4 hours of training a week. Fine. And that's all I would do. I wouldn't do anything else. That was like 6 months of that. And I got really strong. But I was running on 4 or 5 hours of sleep a lot. And it really helped. Like, I was like, I can do this with this. Mm-hmm. But CrossFit, full on CrossFit is tough. Like you said, like when you're not getting sleep for 2 years.
And truly, I feel like when people get in their mid 30s, 40s, I feel like it should be adjusted to like 3 or 4 times a week, that 5 to 6 times a week. You're coming in twice a week, not wanting to do anything. Yeah. Whatever's up there on the board, you're like, it wears you out too much. Yeah. I feel like
I look really forward to Tuesdays and Thursdays. I'm like, what's the workout?
Yeah.
I hope it's, something I like.
Yeah.
I know I'm doing power Monday, Wednesday, Friday.
Yeah. Yeah.
So.
In a real old school classic CrossFit model, though, it does, again, I think we've talked about it, where it's like, you have this hard workout on Monday, and then like I'm looking at, I look at the affiliate programming and stuff all the time, and then Tuesday is 8-minute AMRAP of 1 rope climb, like 8 box jumps.
Or even like the more bodybuilding type stuff that people won't like, but it would be better for them to go through. So
it's
you
a
have
shoulder
those
press, like 5x3 or
2
something.
2 days a week, that are,
So you've got like 3 hard, like mixed modal metcons. You've got like just a rowing interval workout. You've got like, a heavy day. If you mix all that stuff in and you apply like proper intensity, it does work. But if you have people who come in like 2 or 3 days a week and they're like, all we're doing is, like some cleans today and that's it. It's hard to wrap their head around it. So we tend to try and like shotgun spray a little bit more activity into each day and hit like a little more stuff to pack that hour in for people. But, I do try and still hit some of those days. Like today is a bike workout with some shuttle runs. Like I do try and like get an interval day in, or like a day that's mostly strength, but it's tricky to program that way for a group of 500 people.
Yeah.
It's challenging.
Yeah, the good news is they've got Rev, Power Hour.
Yes.
I was just going to say, it fits in really well with even just a barbell open gym too, where you've got 4 days a week intense power or CrossFit, and then you can do I kind of do like ancillary sort of movement days, like hamstring curls, rear delts, that sort of stuff that doesn't get hit. Huh?
You have a neck day in the gym.
Yeah. Yeah.
If we had a small population of like, let's say 80 people, I'd probably program like the gym we go to in Rincon.
Yeah.
It's I think they have 150 members, but they program very much like .com does, and I love it. Like we were there and I was like, I love this. But they have a very small population. They only do CrossFit class. Like it's a very like narrow scope that they do.
They do have a conditioning class too.
Yeah, maybe they do a few things like that, but it's just like it makes sense with that type of thing. Yeah. And you're coming in, 6-7 days a week. So we're running out of time here. I know Kate's looking at her watch here. Pete, you are the man. You're people don't know. I'd like people to listen to this so they know the story. Like you really saved the gym. Without you, we wouldn't be here. I don't know what we would be doing. And what was so cool is you took the project on. Not just, we did it with barbell. The first barbell, people won't know, Pete found that an old buddy of his had that space and
buddies.
Hey, we're gonna get a nice bronze bust of you out in the lobby since you helped get us here.
He helped get us a space, and then this building, we wouldn't be here without him. I definitely wouldn't have been. There's no way. So I can't thank you enough. Pete is like the mascot member. I know, like watching the Open yesterday, they had like Froning had his like guy like that, you know, and I remember I've seen him like with Froning's team and stuff when they like travel, and like Pete's that guy for us. Like he's really like.
Well, and I think what's really neat is it was just so foreign to us, and we were so scared that you understood what you were talking about and what that meant for us. And we're really confident, and we could just kind of rely on you and your confidence to build us up. Because had we not had you, or just someone we didn't know very well that wasn't invested in it, and cool too, you know, I think we would have been too scared.
Yeah.
I had a whole alternative barbell plan where we just did personal training and ran small groups. I'm like, the numbers will work. We're not going to grow, obviously, but we'll be able to make a living, you know.
We won't lose our house.
Yeah.
It's one of the biggest things I learned, like just getting involved with CrossFit and coaching initially, is like in the gym you have, whether it's a smaller gym or bigger gym, if there is some kind of thing you need and you need some kind of professional help, there's someone in the gym that does it.
Yeah.
A dentist, a doctor, a babysitter, you know, whatever you need, there's going to be someone in that community, whether you know them a little bit or really well, you're one of your best friends, like they're going to help you out if you need help with something that's in their line of work.
Yeah.
It really pays. Yeah.
It speaks a lot for CrossFit. So hopefully they don't go anywhere.
Well, and this place has changed my life too, so I appreciate the kind words, but this place has meant just as much to me.
Cool, man. I really appreciate you coming on and doing this, buddy.
For sure.
Thank you.